Hey, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Everybody, this guy is crushing it right now. He is like living the dream. Paul, I want to talk about what's been going
Yeah.
on for you the last like 10 days. And then also kind of rewind, like just a quick breakdown of what's
Mhm.
going on the last 10 days or so. And then take us back about a year, the whole story of how you got to that point.
Okay. Yeah. So, I guess 10 days ago, we announced our seed funding round for our startup, and we've gotten a lot of interest from other investors reaching out, saying, "Hey, we want to back you. Can we get in? Can we get in?" So it's been crazy with the amount of outreach just from that. Positive, great press. We were in kind of TechCrunch. We got 3 mentions in their different articles last week, and a mention on their podcast. Then I got mentioned on the All In podcast, which is David Sachs and like some of the venture capital investors specifically mentioned us, which was awesome. Like that thing I think got 70,000 views on YouTube in like 2 days.
Hmm.
And it's only other startup founders and investors. So you actually end up being in this flywheel of both potential customers, potential hires, because there are a lot of startup employees that watch those, and then also investors. So it's a flywheel that you can actually get going, and just having people talk about the company. It's been fantastic. Been
And
really good.
you're not new to this space. You yourself have been an investor. So
Right.
this is probably pretty familiar territory, but to be having it happen for your own baby, it's
It's
got to feel
yeah.
pretty cool.
No, not familiar territory at all. So I've been like a venture capital investor and an angel investor for about 5 years. But I live in Memphis, Tennessee, which is in the middle of the US, like in the middle of the country, not Silicon Valley, although my co-founder Chris was in Silicon Valley. So it's more like an outside observer looking at this ecosystem and going, how does this work, and trying to figure out and understand how companies get funded, what investors look for in companies, what makes companies successful, and doing a lot of intense kind of study from the investor standpoint. And then when the pandemic hit, I basically stopped going into our office here in Memphis and started working from home. And when you're at home, you can be a lot more creative when like nobody's staring over your shoulder to see what you're working on, right?
Totally.
And I basically let that creativity loose, and it was like a switch flipped in my head where I didn't really care what other people thought. Like this creative part of your own personality starts to come out, and that's really who you are. So a lot of people hide that, and it keeps them from producing anything or having ideas or feel like they're expressing themselves completely. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem, not just for the individual, but for society, especially one that is battling like low growth, low growth environment. So you got 1% GDP growth, 2% GDP growth, and then everybody's looking around complaining. It's like, well, no one, like everybody has to do their part to build things and improve things and make the world like they want it in very specific aspects. So I started looking very deeply at things that needed to be done. And the biggest one of all was making it easier for people to start businesses and to become entrepreneurs. So when GPT-3's AI model launched in July, I was all over it. And in particular, the creativity potential of it was absolutely astounding. So it basically imagine, I think most people overestimate the like they don't have a good understanding for how the AI works. So maybe I can just like give you a quick overview of that.
Yeah,
And
kind of walk us through your own, because you're not an AI expert necessarily,
I'm
but
not.
walk us
I
through kind of
hire
your
them.
own.
I hire them now,
Okay.
though. Okay, but I am not an expert.
Yeah,
So
but to some extent you are at this point because you've had enough time dealing with it and interacting with it, right? And before we move on, let's just see. We got a live
yeah,
audience today, so we'll try to take some questions.
okay,
All of you watching right now, if any questions come up, drop them in because we want to take this time. We've got a unique opportunity to talk to Paul. He's in the middle of like what we all dream of, like having a business just taking off right now, and it's really cool to get your perspective of how you've grown it to this point, but also the tools that you built and how they're going to help each of us as business owners get our business to the next level and create messaging that really resonates with our audience, create marketing campaigns and sales pages that convert more sales, and then just create more brand loyalty and advocates who can share our message. That all happens through better communication and getting clear on your message, your values, your purpose, and also understanding the pain points of your customer. Now, normally that would take tons of research, talking to potential clients and customers, figuring out their pain points, internalizing all that in your brain, and then trying to come up with some, become a world-class copywriter on your own, all while trying to do what you love to do, which is your expertise and help your clients. So that's a lot to juggle as an entrepreneur. So chime in, everyone, if you want some questions answered on how you could use Copy AI to grow your business. We'll get to those questions a little bit later. But Paul, walk us through this evolution of your understanding of what GPT-3 is, these new tools, OpenAI, and how you've used this to create a product that we can all benefit from.
Sure. So I had used GPT-2, which was the prior model back in like 2019, and all it does is like autocomplete text. So you type something in, and it'll keep going with it. So for that model, the data set it was huge, but it wasn't like that big. So it was 2 billion parameters in this data model, which wasn't really enough, right? So you could see glimpses of it sounding
So
good.
On that point, I heard someone say like parameters means like if you had like a soundboard and each dial is one parameter, you're imagining like 2 billion knobs that you could turn. And that even wasn't very impressive at the time, right? Is that what you're saying? Like 2 billion?
It was impressive if you were willing to wade through nonsense, like results that were nonsense. So if you like hit autocomplete and look at the result, like 1 out of 10 would make sense. And for me, like I'm a creativity junkie, like that was great. I'm all over it. And then 1 in 100 was like mind blowing. I'm like, this is the future. I'm like, it's not commercially viable yet because most users won't put up with this. But for me, I just kept hitting the button like I was in front of a slot machine or something. And because you didn't know it was going to come out. And when GPT-3 came out, it had flipped basically the percentage of nonsense was like 20% or less, which was mind blowing. So at that point, it was obvious to me that there would be commercial use cases because now you can generate all kinds of stuff. So when you look at anything, like we were basically saying, hey, what's short form content, because that's going to be inexpensive to produce, that can be creative, and marketing content, sales copy, marketing copy, that's at the top of the list. So those were very obvious, I think, to us, to everybody that also built a similar platform, very obvious to them too.
Yeah.
And so that the thing that changed was now the internet, that basically they downloaded this big common crawl file, which is huge. It's like, I don't know, 10,000 gigabytes of text went into this model. That's a lot of text. So when you have that, that's more than that. 10 million gigabytes, because it's bigger than terabytes.
It's hard to even comprehend.
10,000 terabytes of data. It's huge. It's really huge. So all this, to simplify it down for a second, if you had read the entire internet and then I ask you questions, you'd probably be able to answer them, right? If you had perfect recall of the entire internet and how concepts are related just through the word semantics, you'd be able to like kind of fill in the blank. So if I said, the sun is blank, fill in the blank, you might say hot, right? Yellow, exactly. So that's how good the model is. It would know those two pretty well. If you preface it again by saying the color of the sun is blank, it's gonna say yellow, and it's gonna give you percentage confidence in that answer. So it'll say like 90% chance based on the model that the answer here is yellow. So it can go yellow, and then it can continue it and just start making stuff up, which is awesome because it's all in context.
But like not just making up generic stuff, but actual relevant, interesting, compelling kind of conversation around it.
Yes, it can make all that up. So now let's take a step back and look at what happened. Well, who wrote the stuff that's on the internet? Like people did, right?
Yeah.
And most people don't write that much for the internet. We're mostly downloading content from the internet rather than uploading it in the form of like posts, blog posts, whatever. So then you're looking at this data set that's very human. It's pretty much annotated and like reviewed before it gets posted. It's not all like stream of conscious low quality. It's pretty high quality. And like all of Wikipedia is in this data set. So it's a very human data set. And then the people that built the model are humans. So they kind of figured out what they wanted it to do and how. And then we, like as an app built on top of the model, we're specifying with a set of instructions what we want the model to give us back. And then you have the user, like our own users that are giving us an input. So maybe they're describing their product as an input. We're taking that description, we're adding it to our instruction set, we're sending it through the model, and then the model is going to send us some examples back of outputs. So when it does that, then our user is still they're gonna see, it's like a brainstorm, right? So you have multiple results that come out, and you can mix and match if you want. You can take the whole thing, or you can just say, none of these are good, like let me make more copy ideas. And then the user is now editing to see which ones they want, right? So you have a human in this loop like 4 times. It's a very human process. So in my opinion, now the media narrative is that like AI is this foreign entity thing that's gonna like come in and do all this stuff. It's like not yet. I mean, it's not there yet, right? Its primary job in the way this model works is to save us some time. And the way you interact with the models, you give it instructions that you would give a human. So if I said, hey, I want you to write a blog post about this topic in this way, it can kind of do that. So you can't just tell it random stuff and have it guess what you want back out of it. So that's another thing I think that's hard for some users to understand.
So it's really like talking to a human, almost like if it's your hired copywriter and it's there waiting for your request.
Yeah.
You would be as specific as possible as to what you want it to do for you.
Yep. And when you hire, or if you're a copywriter and you're going to do some research, you might check out some competitors' products, right? And see what words they're
research
using.
them.
Yeah, research, right? Well, research is just, it's the internet. So you're going to go read the internet. Well, that's what the model's already done. And that's why it can just write some copy for you. It's like the same thing that some of that research would have done. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
So it's like, like maybe junior, I don't know if it's even junior level copywriting, but you've got something
It's pretty
at least to start
advanced.
with.
I mean, I feel like when I punch in some stuff, like I read it back, like, wow, I feel like I just hired a professional copywriter to, some is better than others, but some just jump right off the page and you say, whoa, like I couldn't have said that better myself. Or
Right.
It gives you so many creative angles that I think the best thing about what your tool does is that it gets you out of your own head and it validates some thoughts that you might have had, but you weren't confident in or sure about. And then it's kind of putting it back in your face based on what it knows about everything in the universe. Right? I mean,
it's crazy.
insane.
Yeah. And you can make stuff up and it'll start talking about it, which is the best part.
Well, we got to play around with that. So we're going to log in a minute and I want to play around with this. So the story then is you got into this, you saw the potential here. And I think what's really cool about you and your team, Copy.ai, like your values are so clear and your mission, you're here to help entrepreneurs. You want to democratize this technology, make it accessible to all of us and just help each of us, like empowering the individual creator to, perform better, be more effective, like show up and get your ideas out to market faster so you can validate your ideas and get feedback and then ultimately start making money as soon as possible.
That's the goal. That's the goal for most people. They want to earn their own income and have some financial independence. And it most of the time starts as a side project, which is what this was for us. And you learn some, but you don't have that much time, right? Everybody that has a job and maybe a family, you can't spend 10 hours a day without really burdening something else that is very meaningful in your life, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have
Oh,
much time, like low code. You have low code web development tools now. You have all kinds of stuff that's just really easy to use software. You chain them all together and you can build a business really quickly. So that to us is like, okay, we don't know how many people across the planet know that these tools are out there, but our main job with an AI model as powerful as this one is to actually distribute the tools across the planet. So that's why and I know you didn't ask this yet, but how we got our initial customers was picking one social media platform and trying to take that to the limit. So we did this on Twitter. That's where we launched, and in the first 2 days, we had 2,000 signups directly from a one launch tweet. That we got better at because we had built other side projects that didn't work, but each time we built something and launched it, people wanted to follow us.
Yeah, that's a strategy that I've used myself for many years, and I've seen work so well for people, but very few people are willing to do it. It's kind of a scary thing to, like you say, build in public, share the stuff, what you're building behind the scenes. A lot of people try to hold it back until it's perfect or whatever, but you're asking for help. You're getting feedback from people in real time, and you're improving the product as you go with like super low overhead. I mean, you're building this, super successful company right now, super high tech. I mean, this is like a really innovative space with technology going on and AI and like the future, but you're doing it with really basic stuff, super low overhead. Like you just have I think it's your investor mentality that you understand minimum viable product, getting your core group of your core tribe together, get that feedback loop really quick.
The predecessor app we built in an afternoon and launched it, called taglines.ai. we got it up to a couple $100 a month in revenue in like 3 weeks. And then I was like, let's ditch this because you should just build a whole platform with a bunch of these tools. So that's when we started building Copy. We started building it in September. It took about a week and a half. And then we put it into beta, started inviting some people in. But then our beta community kept growing because they were inviting other people. And I was like, oh, well, let's launch it. So we could have launched it 2 weeks earlier, but I was just lazy. Like I didn't have the go do it now mentality, So that's something that you gotta learn.
Like, were you using your own tool to write the copy for the company in your marketing, or was it just kind of just going by the seat of your pants? Or how was that
it's a mix. It doesn't really matter. Like the biggest thing that you got to get right is a launch tweet. Make sure that tweet is good. And
what was yours?
I'd have to pull it. Let me pull it up exactly.
Sure. While you're doing that, we can pop up a couple questions. Let's see what's coming in, Steph. Steph's in the background helping with the questions. Let's see. If there was a perfect dance partner for your product to put out incredible info, what would it or they be? That's a good question, Wes. So people who are using Copy.ai to figure out their copy, are there other tools that they're pairing it with to get, it's kind of broad as far as use case goes. I'd imagine like bloggers or advertisers are using it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to fit into, I'd say somebody's probably already got some kind of stack that they're using. So maybe they're doing Instagram posts and they're using Canva for that, but then they don't know what to put in the text field, or they don't know what captions to put on the Instagram post. They're using Copy for that. If you're writing, a longer article or something, you might even throw it in Grammarly. Like that's just where you're going to be doing it. Maybe it's WordPress and it's just an overlay. So we actually have a Chrome extension that you can use all the tools through the extension itself too, just to make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have pulled up the launch tweet. It says launching Copy.ai space, or like next section. If you hate writing marketing copy, it will blow your mind. We improved on GPT-3 to write copy for any product and for any audience in seconds. And then like next little section on the same tweet. Try it for free for 7 days, unlimited usage, no beta invitation needed.
It sounds kind of like something Copy.ai would write for us. It goes right into the pain point.
Yes. So like we had just in building our own app, like Chris, my co-founder Chris, and I, we've gotten really good at writing copy.
Yeah.
because we're trying to train our own tool on how to do it. And yeah, so that one tweet got like maybe 600,000 impressions, and it got over 7,000 clicks just to that. And we had like 2,000 signups, 1,300 likes. So for a company that's going to be in a competitive market, where if the product's different enough and this is the first time people are seeing it, they'll like share it with a friend, you actually need to kickstart your user base very fast. And
Yeah.
you know,
And that could happen from, I mean, I've seen it work with like Kickstarter campaigns. You plan out the launch date ahead of time, you get influencers on board, and then you have everyone at the same day, like get it out there.
Yeah, we
Kind of
didn't
the
do that.
strategy.
We didn't do that. We tweeted it, and then I DM'd anybody that had a huge audience that was already connected with me.
Same idea. I mean,
I was
the
like,
thing
hey,
is, you're connected
this.
on Twitter. Yeah, because you connect with founders and influencers on Twitter, so you've already done that legwork ahead of time.
I started 2020 with 500 followers. I on that day I had like 2,200 because we'd already launched some other stuff. It didn't work,
Okay.
but 2,200 is like, it's a good size audience. But I was spending a lot of time tweeting, like a lot of time.
Tell me, like, how much?
A lot. It was totally
Twitter.
worth it.
I've tried since like 2009 to get on Twitter. I've deleted an account like 20 times. I think for me, like,
yeah.
What I love about Copy.ai is like writing words to me is the hardest thing on the planet to do. It's never good enough for me. Anything I write, I just look at it like, I don't even know. I'll rewrite something 20 times and then just forget about it and like close the browser. I can't even deal with it.
Yes.
So Twitter is like my least favorite platform. So maybe this will help me actually use it.
I think it's the hardest to get right, and it's the most valuable of any platform. Like it's
that's
just
helpful. The hardest to get right, but it's the most valuable. I guess
because
only if you can do it right.
Those are gonna be related. So since let's see here. So 5 months have passed since we launched. I've got 17,400 followers now. This becomes a competitive advantage when you're trying to get any message out. So we announced like our fundraising. That got 636,000 impressions on it on the one tweet and 4,500 link clicks. So that, like a funding announcement, you know, can get you a lot of clicks. It really does help, right? Like, hey, here's our funding announcement, and we're investors, so like I see funding announcements all the time. The venture capitalists will like tweet, hey, like excited to be, you know, investing in this company, like they're gonna make the world great again. 30 likes on it. Like no one cares, right? No one cares about you and what you're doing when you post it. And I think that's definitely the hardest thing for people to figure out on Twitter. It is not about you. It's about how you can help other people. So you have to add value at scale. So when I looked at, okay, well, what do I know something about? It's like maybe fundraising, startups, and then what are the things I need to learn about? Well, how to actually run a company, management, these other things. So I basically come to Twitter and say, this is what I know about these topics. These, like, hey, can somebody help me on these topics? And when you look back at the feed, try to be very consistent with that, and you will. The other thing is you can't just tweet and walk away like some people do, right? You got to get in there. It's like anyone engaging with you. It's like there are 10 times as many lurkers. Let's say like 5 to 10 times as many as there are that are going to engage. So the way, like, you just need to like act like everybody there that's engaging with you is like a friend, and then it takes a lot of time, but you end up seeing the same people over and over again engaging, and you actually build friendships that way. So I built hundreds of friendships.
And that's, to me, that looks like what is propelling you is a genuine relationship. So the cool thing here is We're talking
Absolutely.
about far-fetched AI technology, and then it all comes back to human relationships and how you actually show up person to person, caring about each other, and having that genuine connection, and then using that as a way of getting your message out there. But it sounds like what you did that's really unique that we all struggle with, especially when someone is trying to promote their own thing, their own product or service, is they don't know how to frame it in a way that actually does provide value. Like you said, most people will post something out there and they get 30 likes, if that, or nothing. And they're like, wow, why doesn't anyone care about what I'm doing here? It's because they're not
Right.
positioning it correctly. And I think using a tool like Copy AI helps you frame what you're doing in a way that's meaningful to your audience and lets them understand why it's important to them and how it's going to help them.
Yes. And I had a student reach out to me. He said, "Hey man, I want to intern with you. I'll work for you for free for like 3 months." I said, "Okay, but like, what do you want to do?" He's like, "I want to do growth." I'm like, "Well, you probably won't know much about growth." I said, let's actually set you up with a goal. I was like, "Would you like followers?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, you need to add value. So how are you going to add value?" I'm like, why don't you do growth threads for like 20 companies? Do one a week, and over 20 weeks, you should hit like, I gave him a stretch goal of 20,000 followers in 4 months. So he started 194 followers. He's on track. This is 4 weeks later. He just hit almost 1,100. His tweet yesterday got over 500 likes on it. And
Is this the guy that you've been retweeting?
Yeah, he's learning about growth.
It's so good. They're really good. His tweet threads about how
he's learning about growth. Yeah, and basically we said, hey, look, it's a pretty simple model. If you do tweet threads, like somebody's got to retweet you, which has been me. But if you like, the more of these you do, you're going to get better at writing every single tweet in the thread. But he's learned about. He did threads on Groupon, which I didn't think was like the best company to pick. Shopify and HubSpot, Dropbox, Stripe. So understanding which channels worked for them and how that, got them to these mega companies, like that was super important for him to see that. And he's like using our tools to build these threads out too.
So it's
especially like the hook generator, the first tweet, you're going to go into that hook generator.
So he's actually getting interest by getting attention with that initial tweet. So if we take this broad, because I know not everyone that's going to be watching is on Twitter and wants to get on Twitter, maybe they will, but in the sense of personal branding and getting an audience and getting your message out there, connecting with people, you're saying, I like a few things that I'm hearing is build a personal brand around something that you're passionate about that's going to be valuable to your audience, and then create like a challenge for yourself to show up for a condensed amount of time. And so was that what you did instead of like a broad, vague thing? You said, look, I'm going to create 20 tweet threads around this type of topic that's going to be interesting to my audience.
I was reading a book about OKRs, which is objectives and key results setting, which is a management style. Basically, it just says, hey, set a goal. I was like 20,000 followers, and then the key results are what I need to do to get there. And it was like, add a lot of value and tweet and learn about how, startup growth at the same time. So everything funneled together for him. And it was a very obvious plan. So we put that plan together in about 20 minutes. And I was like, all right, now it's on you to execute this. And the hardest thread's going to be the first one, right? But once you get the first one out and see this positive feedback loop, like he had 200 likes or so on that one. Once you get in the positive feedback loop, you're going to do it over and over again. And that's where you need to be. But he stayed committed, hit his goal, like, even amplified his game plan. So he's been doing more than one a week now. So he's on a mission, and it's an amazing feeling to like see him do this. And I'm learning a lot from his threads too, which is awesome.
What's funny is like I saw that. And I legitimately thought that this guy was some like Silicon Valley expert. Like, no. That's the thing. He's like, I'll be a free intern. The way he's showing up and positioning himself is the go-to authority who like is the know-it-all of how to growth hack a new
Yes.
business?
Well, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be a juggernaut for growth, but he was very interested in working hard, but didn't have the plan. And it wasn't until we were on like a Zoom call, and I was like, you need a plan, and I was like, here's the plan, like, do this, execute it. I was like, set up a Google sheet and track all your metrics and all of like your follows. He even has a Substack account. I'm like, dude, post it to both of them, grab the email addresses. So he's got over 100 subscribers now to his Substack account. He's got all this content, and then he'll be able to go horizontal with the content too. So it's like, hey, are you like, this is how startups have used SEO, for example, right? It slices across all the companies. So he'll be able to generate content upon content upon content very quickly. And each of these threads is like 6 hours. Like, he tracks how much time it takes to research it and write it up. So 36 hours,
Okay.
That's a good investment for him. That's a really good investment.
To go from obscurity, no one knows who you are or anything about you, to becoming like a go-to person in your industry in how many weeks?
4 weeks.
Yeah. That's so talk about personal branding right there. What do you want to be known for? I think is the first question. What do you want people to like come to you for?
Yeah,
I think people,
if you're going to want to really get on the content creation thing, people need to know why they need to follow you and what to expect. So some people can get away with like, hey, these 3 things. Like on my Twitter bio, I say, follow me as I build our startup in public on Twitter. It's pretty straightforward CTA on why you should follow me, but so for me, it started out like, hey, I'm building a product and this is what we're doing and these are the features. And then it's kind of turned into, I have to build a company now, which is different than just a product, because there's a lot that I have to learn both ways. So trying to make that transition's really, it's been interesting, right? It's been interesting. So that's kind of like, that's just a short overview about how we're thinking about content. And then we've hired everybody off Twitter too. So we made 6 hires in the past 4 weeks. Everybody came from Twitter. Most of them have been following me or Chris like for months. So when you reach out and you try to set up a call, they already know you. They already know what you're about. So the question that they have is this actually who you are? Or is this just a persona? Luckily, we're pretty close to the way we portray ourselves on Twitter. So there wasn't like a big shock that we're different people. Hey, Steffi.
Hey, everyone's really excited in the chat. Thank you so much, Paul, for sharing. We have a couple questions. I want to make sure we get to them, if that's okay. First off is Paul. Paul says, how and where do you see your AI tools being used in the next 3 to 5 years?
It's a good question. Just based on what I've seen with content, I think everybody is going to be creating content. You look at TikTok or Instagram or Reels, like just random people can create better content than studios now with just their iPhone, know? And just think about how many people that have all this knowledge trapped in their head, they don't create content. So there's no leverage in their lives to take what they've learned and all that time they spent and actually share it with people. So people are getting rewarded for sharing the knowledge, for sharing the content. And if you look at it from just maybe an AI or tech standpoint, it's upload, right? The internet, imagine the internet is AI, that's what I think it is. The internet, you can't do without the internet, right? If the internet goes down for 45 days, it's not looking good, right?
We didn't have internet for 1 day, and that was hard.
Yeah, it's not looking good, everybody. So it is clearly, it's the global human consciousness is the internet. It's got all the knowledge in there, and it's our communication network. So that is like the brain for humanity, and it's already that way. So when I think about why is that the case, well, the reason is when you provide content, you upload more information to it, you're incentivized to do it because other people find value in the content. and they're willing to pay you in some kind of way for the value of the content. So a lot of people, like, you can be a college student and be a growth specialist just because you're researching and doing a write-up on what you're doing. Where this gets really interesting is a lot of people are like, hey, college is stupid, a waste of time, right? But college, right?
Yeah.
So I graduated early because I couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And our first 3 hires didn't finish college.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it really kind of doesn't matter if you're 5 years into a career. Nobody cares really. Like, we want to see what you did. We want to see your portfolio and what you're passionate about, which is great. The thing that college tries to get you to do is trying to prepare you for the real world. Well, we don't need to do that. We don't need to fake essays anymore. You can literally write a thread about how HubSpot grew to 100 million users or $100 million in revenue. It's literally the same thing. You're researching a topic, right? You're synthesizing it into words. You're trying to communicate that in a post, but instead of a teacher who really doesn't care about your thing, like giving you an arbitrary grade, you literally let Twitter and 100,000 people grade it with the like button. Okay. So it is the same project. It's exactly the same, except it has 50,000 times the power behind it. So that kind of thing, especially for like business degrees or non-technical things, there's no reason you should be doing these very formal, boring case studies. Like, it's stupid. And then when you graduate, like when he graduates Twitter, he will have all the opportunities open to him. And so, and it's something that started out as an unpaid internship. I was like, you're not going to add that much value to me. Why don't you go create content? I'll read it, and that'll be helpful. Like, I can tell you which companies I want to learn about. That has been such an amazing thing just for him and for me to watch this happen. And so I actually think that in the 3 to 5 years, I think a lot of people are going to be generating content. I don't see a way around it. And
yeah, I call it learn out loud.
It's great. It's great.
Really, when I look at course creators, people who make a lot of money with digital products, it comes from building that personal brand, building a relationship with your audience, and that's through teaching and educating and sharing your passion, your knowledge, your experience. And a lot of them do it through YouTube. So a lot of course creators focus on like the video platform where they can express themselves a little more, and that does a lot for you, like connecting on video. If you're better at writing, Twitter is a great option, especially the way you've taught the intern, like doing the text threads on a specific topic and then just staying on brand, like doing that, just writing really good, valuable pieces.
I told him, I said, nobody cares about your thoughts on any other thing. I'm like, people are going to be there for the growth. I was like, once you build trust on growth, then you can introduce maybe something adjacent to it. But even me, I'm like, I have a policy. I don't tweet about anything that's hot button politics, none of that. Like, no one cares what I think about those topics. And then I also don't cuss, keep it wholesome. And it's great. It's like,
it's going to be a hard one for me. We have one more question from West. He says, will the pricing be locked in for the early adopters of Copy.ai?
We're going to, try to keep it locked in. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's the contract period is just what it is. So it's not, but yeah.
Well, let's talk about that pricing model. So the way it works, and what I like about you guys, you've been really transparent with how it works, your relationship with OpenAI and like how that dynamic is. So you're kind of the middleman for us to interact with the AI. Is that correct? And then you guys pay like per entry or submission that we make. It's like there's a hard cost on your side, right?
Correct. Every little text fragment costs us money. So when you enter in like a big text thing, that's going to cost us more money. If you select a tool that has a longer output, it costs us more money. So what we wanted to do, because our mission is it's basically the same mission as OpenAI, which owns the GPT-3 model, is to democratize access to this AI. We just need to get it out there. So we're not worried about like the pricing, whatever. I don't even care. And I'm lazy. So I'm like, if I don't even want to think about usage-based pricing, then nobody does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's make it unlimited and just see what
happens.
Let's guess at a price point, and if it feels pretty good, then let's just go. And that's worked out so far. So
good.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's working.
Yeah, so it's worked out so far, and it's not too low where you need to like reduce the quality of the outputs. That's the last thing we want to do. So when we launched in October, by the end of November, we got a good understanding of usage, and we saw that it was not as high as we thought it could be. So we ended up cranking up result, like quality and all that. This is still very much a minimally viable product, even though it's kind of been successful. A lot of that's coming from the AI model itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we raised the capital to go hire a team, hire engineers, really invest in the product more. There's a ton of stuff that we're going to be doing with this. As it is now, it's kind of these piecemeal tools, and you still got to put everything together. And we're not, the outputs are a certain like tone of voice, or may not match the tone of voice that you have with your business. That's all in the roadmap to getting synchronized and like really good. And one thing that comes up, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but you find a piece of copy, you're like, oh, that's kind of a cool piece of copy, and then you don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? You're like, well, where would I use this? Our platform should help you out with that. Like, we should be like, yo, try this out on.
Try this out on your about page, or try this out here. Well, is it possible? Because Andrew's, people love seeing Andrew's demos. Is it possible that we could walk through a demo right now, and Andrew could basically just ask you some questions and get some insider knowledge? That'd be great.
Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah. So Andrew and I were talking before the call opened up about the pain point one, pain agitate solution.
Mm-hmm. Let's go there. So you've got,
that's in sales, the sales copy section.
Yeah. I'm just going to so anyone who's new to this or hasn't seen it, the one cool thing is your interface. One final point before we dive in is what's interesting about your software here is, I think going forward, like what OpenAI has done is kind of like what happened when the iPhone was released and then developers came in and built apps for the iPhone. Yep. So it unleashed this whole new creative world of people who could develop on top of a platform. So that's essentially what this is, right? It's like an app on top of OpenAI.
Yeah.
OpenAI. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah, but they're trying to build the artificial brain. So in their long-term thing, you wouldn't even need an app at all. You just go.
It'll be smart enough.
You just say, hey, yeah, you just tell it what you want.
How many years away do you think we are from that?
Not that long. Not that long.
Are you saying like you could just like write a book on this or make a movie about that? Or like, is it to that extent, or?
It's close. It's close. Yeah.
So, all right, well, where we are right now is pretty wild already, but it is happening very fast. So this interface that you've created, the unlimited option, is amazing. I love that you called it a playground. Because this is where you can play. And from my experience, like you said, it's a little bit tough to like figure out, first off, to play with all the tools and then see what's going to work for you and what you need. It takes a little bit of experimentation. Mm-hmm. So you recommend then going to this the sales copy section.
Mm-hmm. That first one right there. Yeah,
let's try it out. Yeah,
so
keep talking.
Type in. So I'll give you one example. You can type in Leatherman right there, and then the next section we'll just type in multi-tool, all one word. So, and you just hit create. So if you guys know what a multi-tool, it's like a combo like Swiss Army knife, but like pliers and stuff. And Leatherman is an actual brand of it. So what's interesting thing about this one is you've literally entered 2 words. And the model is going to give you a lot of copy back.
Yeah, you put in 2 words, and it knows all about this.
Yes.
What do you, I mean, it knows enough to where the pain point and then it articulates it so clearly.
Yes. This is mind blowing, man. It's like low inference. It's called low inference AI. So it doesn't need much information to go extrapolate like what you're trying to get back out.
I mean, the messaging is so good. Like, I love how it understands how to communicate in a way that's fun, engaging. Like, look what it just said, be prepared for anything. Let's go outside. Wow.
Yeah. So you can just like scroll through. I think you'll probably get 7, maybe more results.
Yeah. It gives you tons. I mean, it's insane.
So like, this is costing us money, but totally worth it. So on that first result, can you
let me go full screen here and we can make it easier.
Click click the make more button right there. So what this is going to do, it's going to run that result back through and actually push new results in down there. So it might take a second.
Yep. Now it loses the formatting, right? So I noticed it kind of just
it does
on it.
Yep.
Okay. So now it's kind of describing it. Suit all your needs. Prepare for anything with Letterman. Ditch the clumsy plastic devices that fell apart the last time you used them. Oh my gosh. There's more tools. If you're ready for adventures, it's time to strap. So I think what I might have set here is in the settings. I think I have it. Oh, I have it to friendly. I thought I might have had it at adventurous. So these tone tools in your settings, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would say that, most people just pick friendly and go with that. These are like our, again, like early tone tools. These are going to get a lot more sophisticated, and we're going to be able to clone tones off of like your website, your own product pages, that kind of thing.
Wow. So you put in your site and it knows the general tone of your brand.
Yeah, we want to match whatever your brand voice is as much as possible.
And could you then maybe like plug in someone else's site and it would know
that's why we call it copy.
I mean, that's what I found is like, so you go, let's say you go to someone's site. What I found was really wild is weirdly like, okay, so this stuff is insane. The copywriting frameworks, like you said, you become a better copywriter.
Yes, those are really, really good. And, this is built for copywriting, but copywriters already know how to do this stuff. So the formulas, the way that they're set up, the AI loves putting these back out at you.
Oh, does it?
This is the ADA framework. Yeah, ADA is a very good tool.
So what do you mean it loves doing this? Like it just understands this better?
Yeah, it's just, you can just read it. Like that first one.
It gets your attention.
Right? That first one, like you could use that for a TikTok video. Yeah, that's going to be 20 seconds.
I mean, they kind of feel like those script, like ads, like a Wisconsin inventor has created the most compact multi-tool yet. It's like, well, I got to see what this is.
Yeah, exactly. It would be. Yeah. So these copywriting formulas, I think, because they're not connected to where the content's going, I think some people overlook like how useful they are, but they're really useful across lots of different applications.
I think that's one of that you've mentioned. It's so good for brainstorming, getting out of your own head and just seeing what kind of marketing angles and ideas could come up here and reading it in this format. Now you're like, oh, I can go in this direction, or wow, that's a great way to like, again, go to what my audience wants to hear to get them to read what I have available to them.
Right. And the nice thing about social media is you can test all of these in like a week. You can just record 7 of them and test them and then figure out which ones are getting kind of the most engagement on them.
So if we were there was one tool that I thought was pretty wild. For some reason, the change tone tool.
Yes, that's the other superpower one.
Like what I found is I went to someone. So I'm going to pull up a couple of our customers and clients, just see what it might do for their copy. Like these are some really fun examples. One of our friends and clients has a company, the Bold Vocal Academy.
Okay.
So I would try, almost just taking what she wrote, and the change tone actually kind of does the same thing where it gives you almost different marketing messaging angles. I mean, we could try plugging this into a few different of these tools. So I might just try this one, but I want to try this one here. I'm going to say the bold and then put it here. So as far as writing the description,
we added witty too, by the way.
I saw that one.
You got
some good ones here. The persuasive one, I have to say that's the one that I keep leaning towards. Do you have a favorite?
I think the friendly one is just a real good general purpose one. I think it works with most brands, most products.
And then Steph, while we're doing this, see if there's any questions we could chime in. And one more thing before I hit create, is there anything around this little option that you'd recommend us using, or?
It's just extra information. So you can either you can put it in there, or you can include it in the that input box, the big input box.
Okay, so you could kind of just
it's going to try to incorporate that into the results for you.
I noticed with I was helping a real estate agent. He's building a course to help other real estate agents with their Facebook advertising, and he was promoting a webinar. So we put in like real estate agents who want to run ads or something, occasion, free live webinar, promotion, get free access or something. And just adding in those couple things, like the AI was like, boom, it just knew exactly what we wanted from it.
Yes. It's context. So when you're adding that, think of every single word as context.
So if you don't want to think, just go copy someone's marketing copy. And so in this case, I'm literally just copying what she wrote here, which is really kind of interesting. You're ready to step into the full power of your voice and show up confidently on stage, online, and in studio. This monthly vocal coaching membership was created with you in mind. So just something kind of random like that. I found that when you hit create, it just starts to give you really good, super intuitive. I tried it with like a relationship coach, and it understood like overcoming trauma in your relationship, so you can step into your love and find abundance, and like it knew exactly what I was looking for from the example I pulled it from.
Yes. Now sometimes the first result will be almost identical to what you put in.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's because we're using a semantic search ranking to like sort them, and so because it's almost the same, it's gonna rank really high, but you just have to ignore that.
Okay, so it knows it's really relevant or related to what you put in.
It's related to what you put in. That's why it's scoring so high, yeah.
Got it. Okay, so ready to get the most out of your voice, our monthly vocal coaching membership. It's the key to unlocking your potential. That's really clear and nice. It's a coaching membership for pros and beginners who want to learn how to use their voice. We help you speak more confidently, connect their audience, or just speak better. You'll walk away with the tools you need for professional sounding audio. That's a great line. Your voice matters. The bold vocal can help you get there. Unlimited access to videos. So it's already understanding what you might be offering too. And I've seen people say, wow, this is helping me improve my product because it's actually suggesting what might be in it.
Yes. We have, I think it's under brainstorming tools at the bottom there. I think we have next product.
Ooh.
We'll actually invent your next product for you, which is cool.
Should I try that?
Yeah, try it.
I thought shower thoughts was kind of fun. That made me think of like those witty Twitter.
Those are, yes, that is a tweet generator. We can't call it a tweet generator, but the tweets that I've seen from people using that tool have worked really well.
So next product ideas, a vocal app, mobile app that lets you vocal exercises, a tour, singing and breathing exercises, monthly podcast.
So a lot of our, go ahead.
Yeah, one next thing for this tool, the way it works, because it's running through the AI model all the time, if you click create again, it'll give you a totally new set of results. Yeah,
Here or above?
Yeah, click make more.
Okay.
These new results are not necessarily worse than the old ones. They're different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to hit that button like 3, 4, 5 times and continue to just have that brainstorm keep going.
And I love the heart option, so it saves it to your save section.
And sometimes since I've been playing with this, I go in and I change it a little bit. Perhaps if it's in New York and it's LA versus, does it get smarter if I go in and I edit? Does it know that I'm editing it?
That's gonna just save it with the edited text. What we're not taking that and running it back through the model again to personalize yet. That's something that we're gonna be doing though.
It looks like it does here though. If I had to click add,
yeah, I just thought it was so cool. I'm like, oh, I'm communicating with the robot.
If you hit add more, it will actually take what you had edited and it'll run that through.
Perfect. That's so cool.
Which is what you want. So something might come back. You just strip down what you didn't want and click the button.
Okay. Any questions here? We're almost at the hour. I feel like we could be here all day. I'm sure you're used to this.
There's another one under brainstorming tools. Go to viral ideas.
Yeah, Trish says this is a game changer. Already use it on my Instagram carousel, Facebook posts. I hate writing, so I love it already.
Go to all right, for the describe your product. Just type in let's call it the monthly. Just use monthly vocal coaching membership. Yeah.
I was waiting for your coaching on this. So a little bit more broad will kind of give us some better.
Yeah.
Did I do viral ideas? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yep.
Okay. Forgot. Okay.
Host mini masterclass.
Oh, look at that right there. Is good.
So this is going to give you, some different ideas. You have to play around with that input description sometimes to really like dial in maybe on an audience. So if your mentorship is for like high school students, then you might include high school students in your input. And the results that come back are going to be in that context. So things that, yeah.
And I've noticed that, like, just put in a few words, it starts to really get into it more.
Yeah. So that one, like number, yeah. So these viral ideas are a little bit different. Then you have growth ideas, which is the one underneath that. That's more for like growth channels. So you can just hit create.
Growth ideas.
These tools are pretty fun. So you have all kinds of stuff, right? Like obviously you can do a podcast, you can do a mini course. And I think sometimes when people see the results, they may have thought about it, but when they see it written out, it may be something that they think merits kind of more attention.
This is amazing. Incredible. Yeah. Wes says, this is honestly one of the coolest tools ever.
Thanks, Wes. Go to the name. Crazier. Go to name generator.
Oh my gosh. I was hanging out with my friend who's she teaches people how to launch courses. Yeah. And we sat down at a coffee shop and like we were crying, laughing. She was so blown away by this. And like she just had a million ideas of what we could do with this. But we were playing around with like launching monkeys into space with like a name generator, and it came up with like monkey knots. And then we did a resume.
Hit create.
Oh my gosh, let's see what it does. Yeah. We did a resume and it like understood like aerospace engineering and like a background on like how we've launched pigs into space. Now we're going into monkeys. Like it was so smart.
Voco coaching, vocal muse, coach up voice. Ooh, the woke podcast.
The woke podcast. So maybe click like.
Look at that. It tied in singing with entrepreneurship, pitch club.
Yes. That's awesome.
That's so
right.
Cool.
So for those, if you've got more.
Oh, you added this. Look at this.
Yeah. We have that. So that's going to do a .com lookup. It's accurate maybe 95% of the time. So that one should be available if you click that. It's going to take a second. And
I heard you on another interview saying you were going to try to add that.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's so cool.
We got, would growth tools be ideas for email options?
Growth ideas. For email opt-in.
For email opt-ins, yeah.
We don't have no. I mean, the growth tools is going to give you ideas for like different growth channels. So it might say like email campaign, aimed at this group, but it's not really going to be like the copy for the email.
Okay.
opt-in.
And then we got another question. For the mini course, will it auto create modules and chapters?
Okay, so for that, can you scroll up just a little bit more? Okay, in the website copy section, which is right below that one, you can use like the blog titles, the listicles. You can kind of use it for chapter ideas. We should actually create course specific ones.
Because I mean, I know
Yeah,
that
let me
I
write
always
that
like
down.
to name them something fun. Vocal mastery, the 3 steps to creating a killer vocal product, become a better singer in 30 days. These are good.
Yeah, so take like 4 secrets to maximize vocal power. Take that and push that into the blog outline tool.
Let's see. That's the title.
Yeah, that you can take that out and try that.
Renee says, from an engineering perspective,
you
might be the only one here.
Yep.
Who cares? But I'm mega impressed. That's awesome.
Oh, Renee is a programmer, so he'll appreciate everything going on behind the scenes. Hey, one question about the output. So I saw some questions. People were concerned about like plagiarism, copyright stuff. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Yes. So plagiarism, it's literally creating a lot of this stuff on the fly. Occasionally, it will string together like enough words to actually basically be plagiarizing, but it's rare. Like it's in the low single digits percentages of outputs that would be like that. We're going to be integrating a plagiarism API just on a back end to remove those. So that shouldn't be a problem.
So you actually filter it out ahead of time?
Yeah, just the way that the model works, it is literally writing one word after the next based on the entire internet. So it's just really hard for it to plagiarize by the way it's built. That was kind of shocking to me.
It's hard to believe because you read this stuff and it sounds like it must have been copied and pasted. I guess we're so trained to search through Google, so we just assume everything coming up here already exists, right? We're
it's like
it's just
exactly
copying and pasting.
Yeah, this is like if Google, it's like a Google that's being generated on demand. Because that's really where this is headed. Because you're trying to answer a question and it's a search problem, right? Our tool is a search engine. You're searching for copy. You're searching for text. You're searching for content. And the way you search it is it's called priming it, but really you're just giving it instructions. So we have instructions, but we've kind of narrowed the scope of what you have to enter as a user to kind of get the right outputs from it or things that might be useful. The user's expectations are really high on a product. They're really, really high, So if there's a misspelled word or like grammar is off, like one word is off, we're trained to latch on to it and just say, well, this whole thing is garbage, right? And so that's a complication. Like that's a problem for us. The bar is set really high. I wonder if they probably knew that, and that's why when they did GPT-3, instead of making the model 10 times the size, they made it 100 times the size. They basically skipped a step, and it worked. It worked really well. So the idea that this product can be $49 a month, just full price, is insane with a full like 7-day unlimited trial. Is like I was like. In my head, I was like, this is 35 times better than an alternative right now.
Yeah, it's way, way better. And a lot of our audience absolutely loves this and they're obsessed and they all want to be affiliates. So what does it take to be an affiliate?
We have a link in our footer. If you just, in the footer of our website, it says like join our affiliate program. If you fill that out, I can get all those requests approved at the bottom.
Okay, perfect. And how long does it usually take?
I would do those on Fridays, so that's tomorrow.
Okay. So tomorrow you should be approved, everybody.
Yeah. So the thing with I think a lot of affiliates don't know exactly what to do. So like they get their link. Our affiliate program is pretty solid. It's like 40% or something of the first year's revenue. So
yeah, thanks for that.
That's like over $200 per paying user. This is such a different platform that you can't just post the link and say, "Oh, go check this out." You should just like either screenshot you like using the tool, or like a video is ideal. Yeah, it's definitely an educated product. And this is a problem for us, even with SEO, because no one is searching for these tools because no one realizes this even exists, right? So what do you search for like with this,
Yeah.
It's not clear what you're searching for. So the affiliate program is a way for us to amplify our distribution and our reach. And for the people that like the tool and want to promote it, I think the value proposition's there for a lot of people, especially small business owners that need copy for everything: emails, website, social media posts,
it's a no-brainer
ads.
investment, that's for sure.
Right.
And one more question, and I know you have.
I know we're at the hour yet. You want to honor your time? Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Yeah.
If I run a copy on Copyscape, what will be expected? Authenticity percentage, 75, 95?
I have not run a test on Copyscape. We've had users do that, and they're like, "I can't believe this is, authentic." So my guess is it'd be like 95 plus on there, but I don't have an actual number on that.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I mean, one way to find out. I'd love for you guys to do that. Let us know. I mean, if you're experimenting, I'm
let me know.
Teaching.
Let me know.
Yeah, we'll let you know, Paul.
And
your Facebook group is popping right now too.
Yeah, my email is paul@copy.ai. So you guys can just email me if you have questions like that. I'm happy to answer those.
Nice, man. This is amazing. I feel like we could be here all day. There's so much more to talk about. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
And especially when you get some new updates, and then as things come out, I'll ping you and see if we can do a quick jump on and talk about it sometime.
Okay. And I was just looking at our paid members. So we've got like over 1,700 customers, and we haven't run paid ads, like no paid ads.
Amazing.
So that had over 100,000 signups in 5 months. So it's people like it, and everybody, people are telling friends about it. It's like, this is fantastic. And again, like the narratives, man, the media narratives, like AI is going to come and take your job, it's going to automate your job. But for a small business owner, you're like, man, this is a lifesaver. Like this actually enables me to become an entrepreneur, and that's what I really wanted to do. That's the narrative I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to tell other people, hey, a lot of people, even if they have a dream job like I did, still think that they can do more. Like they can basically unleash that spirit that they have inside themselves. And I think it starts really with these side projects. Like, hey, what's a fun thing you can build on the side or on the weekend, and actually start building these skills and kind of take it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but at least you'll have learned something. So we've actually given out some like free weekends. We'll announce it on Twitter. Like, hey, it's free this weekend. So even if your trial expired, you can come back into the platform and use any of the tools you want as much as you want. And people like that, So.
Well, everyone's raving about you. You're like the cool underground band that everybody's talking about.
Oh man, I would love that. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. So yeah.
Well, hey, this has been a lot of fun. Any final thoughts? I mean, that was a pretty good way to wrap it up.
No, I think you had a good understanding of the tool, which is good. I think a lot of maybe the thing that I want to try to figure out is, like you asked about 3 to 5 year, vision. From my standpoint, you should be able to describe a business, and then it just gets generated, like the whole works, right? You shouldn't even have to figure out what distribution channel to hit, because that's So like computer should help you with that.
I mean, will it do research for you? That's like, is it going to figure that stuff out in a, not just like a general way, but like an actually data driven?
Probably, I don't. This model is very text oriented, very language oriented.
Okay.
It knows facts, so you can ask it facts. Like if you ask it what the population of some city is, it's going to come back with a fact. So to actually take it to the next level, you have to string multiple requests on top of each other. So you have to take that, plug it into the next thing, and actually build a little bit of logic into it. So the question is, well, how do you chain these things together to build the logic in a way that can be dynamic? And that's kind of what what you have to do. So you end up building this artificial general intelligence, but for a very specific set of use cases. So if it's me, I don't care about learning how to code an app with the tool. I don't care about a lot of the different use cases for it. I care about like the business, the marketing, entrepreneur tools. So if we just stay in this lane that we want to be in, we think we can actually go, pretty far. And then
like even web design potentially, where it like creates a website for you, kind of a deal. Or
you can do that now. The crazy stuff will come in when you can create images just by describing something. Right. That'll be this year.
Is that going to come out for sure this year?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So do you think, would that be something you build to add to your platform, or is that going to be a separate project?
We could probably add it in like 5 minutes, the way that they built their AI platform.
Holy cow. That's got to cost more though. I mean,
I think it's going to cost less.
Oh, perfect.
I think it's going to cost less. The reason is images, you have a very high tolerance threshold, right? If something's out of place, you don't know because it's a creative image. But with words, we're like hawks. You see that one word that's out of place, your eye goes straight to it. And it's like, well, no good. This is not good. But if you're going to generate like a landscape picture, like an AI would know how to do that pretty easily.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So a lot to look forward to. We'll keep an eye on what you're doing, and I'm going to be educating my crowd because I'm so pumped about this. I'm so happy that someone like you is in a position that you're in. I can tell that you really care about helping the average entrepreneur, business owner, and it's a great community that you're building. You're doing amazing work with everything you're sharing and the way you're leading. So I appreciate you, Paul, and I'm so excited to see where you go from here.
Yeah, I want everybody to get on Twitter because that's where it's at. That is where it's at.
Hey, I'm going to help you with your Facebook group because
please help. We need help. We need help.
All right, let's do it. My crowd knows a little bit about Facebook groups. Let's get over there and let's get that thing going.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Paul, so much for your time and being here and sharing all your knowledge. Appreciate it.
Hey, last thought. Are you a Memphis Grizzlies fan?
Yes.
Yeah, well, someday I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, so we've had a tough luck with NBA fandom, but maybe one day we'll check out Kings up in Memphis. Who knows?
Do it. On Twitter, my profile background is this picture of John Morant attempting a dunk over the Lakers. I was at the game.
Right? Every time he gets that poster shot, he misses it.
I was at the game. It was awesome. He did definitely miss it. That ball just went flying, but it was still awesome, man. The crowd went.
That guy's insane.
Berserk. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
All right. Well, till next time. Thanks, Paul.
Okay. See you guys.
All right. Bye. See you guys.